The last photograph of them was taken at a gas station outside Barstow, California. I'm looking at a copy of it right now, printed on plain paper, slightly washed out. The way scanned photographs always lose something in the transfer. A woman at a pump. 2 kids visible through the back window of a station wagon. The husband is presumably behind the camera. It's a Tuesday in August. The clock on the station wall behind her reads 2:14 in the afternoon. They are never photographed again. I pulled this case because of that clock, not the family, not the disappearance, the clock. Because when I cross-referenced the time stamp against the credit card receipt from that same station, the numbers don't align. The receipt is logged at 2:41 p.m., according to available records. 27 minutes separate a clock on a wall from a transaction record. That gap, 27 minutes at a gas station in the Mojave, is where I've been living for the past month. Small number. Enormous silence inside it. By the end of this, you'll understand why I can't let it go. Here's what the records show, as best I can reconstruct them. The Calloway family, David, age 38, Patricia, age 35, Marcus, 9, Renee, 6, left their home in Phoenix, Arizona on a Tuesday morning in August 1986. Their stated destination was a relative's home in the Inland Empire, roughly 400 miles north. A trip families made constantly that summer. Nothing unusual on paper. David had taken 2 weeks off work. Patricia packed a cooler. Marcus brought a spiral notebook for drawing. Renee carried a stuffed elephant everywhere. These inventory details come from family testimony, the kind that only matters in retrospect. When people are trying to remember the last ordinary day, they were reported missing 5 days later. When they failed to arrive and calls to their home phone went unanswered, the search that followed was, by most accounts, inadequate. Initial responders treated it as voluntary disappearance, a marriage in trouble, maybe financial pressure, maybe a family that decided to keep driving. Investigators in 1986 did not have the tools that exist now. Cell towers didn't exist. GPS wasn't civilian. You reconstructed a route by interviewing gas station attendants and motel clerks and hoping someone remembered. One person remembered. A station attendant outside Barstow confirmed a woman matching Patricia's description pulled up to a pump. He saw 2 children. He saw her pay cash, which is why no transaction appeared until the credit card charge surfaced later. Under circumstances documents indicate were unclear. That word, unclear, appears 3 times in the initial report. I've been through it carefully. 3 times, never explained. That's why I couldn't close this file. The route between Phoenix and the Inland Empire is not complicated. Interstate 10 west through low desert, then north at some point, or Highway 62, or south through Indio. Variations exist. But the corridor is not a maze. It is one of the most heavily traveled stretches of road in the American Southwest. I drove it. Both directions. What strikes you immediately, within the first hour out of Phoenix, is how the landscape erases distance. Brown scrub, pale sky, the highway narrowing toward a horizon that never gets closer. An exit appears every 40 minutes, maybe less. You can drive past 3 towns and not realize you've passed them. The signs are small. The road doesn't care. If something happened to the Calloways out here, witnesses would be scarce. Memory would be scarce. But something happened. That much is certain. The credit card charge that appeared on their account, logged at 2:41 p.m. at the Barstow station, was disputed by the family's bank within weeks of the disappearance. The bank noted that the card had been reported missing, then found, then used in what they described as an irregular sequence. I've tried to get the full record of that sequence from 2 separate sources. One didn't respond. The other told me the records from that period were archived off-site and retrieval would take months. That's a wall, not conspiracy, institutional friction. Friction that has protected this gap for nearly 40 years. What I could access was a motel reservation. Or rather, what the absence of one tells us. The family had a confirmed booking at a motel in San Bernardino, a small chain property that no longer exists. The physical ledger is gone, but the reservations office kept carbon copies, and I tracked down a woman who processed bookings there in the mid-'80s. She's in her 70s now, outside Sacramento. She talked to me for 45 minutes on the phone. She remembered the system. She does not remember the Calloways specifically, asking a 70-year-old to recall one family from hundreds of reservations. Taken 40 years ago is asking for memory she doesn't have. But she told me something that mattered. When a family didn't check in by 10 p.m., protocol was to hold the room until morning, then release it. They would not contact anyone. They would reclassify the booking as a no-show for at least 12 to 14 hours after the Calloways were due to arrive. No one who was expecting them knew they hadn't. The motel released the room. The relatives assumed delay. David and Patricia weren't the type to call ahead about timing. The relatives confirmed this, that they were casual about check-ins, that you heard from them when you heard from them. The family disappears Tuesday afternoon. Nobody counts the hours until Sunday, when 5 days of silence finally breaks through whatever explanations the relatives had constructed. Someone understood this family's specific mechanics, their casualness, their travel window, their route. That level of specificity points toward familiarity. Not intimacy, familiarity. Someone who had paid attention. I thought I understood the shape of this case. A family driving through the desert. Something goes wrong. The trail dies somewhere. In 200 miles of emptiness. Tragic. Possible. The kind of thing the Mojave has done to people since the first roads crossed it. And then I found the journal. Entry. Patricia Calloway kept a travel journal. Her sister mentioned it in passing during a local news interview filmed about a year after the disappearance. One of those anniversary pieces small stations used to run. The journal never surfaced in the original evidence record. It presumably stayed in her bag, but the sister also mentioned, and I almost missed this because the reporter talked over part of it, that Patricia had called her the night before the trip, not to say goodbye, to ask a question. She asked if her sister remembered the name of the man who had approached David at their son's baseball game 3 weeks earlier. The sister couldn't remember. She said the call felt odd. Patricia wasn't worried exactly, just curious in the way you get when something small keeps surfacing in your mind. The reporter moved on. The interview ended, and as far as I can tell, no investigator ever followed up on that phone call, that question, or whoever that man was. I don't know what happened at that game. I don't know who approached David Calloway or what was said. I don't know if it connects to a road trip that ended in silence 3 weeks later. What I know is that Patricia Calloway, the night before she disappeared, thought it was worth asking about. That is the question I cannot answer. Not the highway patrol stop, not the credit card discrepancy, not the 27-minute gap at the Barstow station. This one, who was that man, and why was he still in her head the night before they left? I've mapped this case from every angle I can access. Here's where the evidence actually lands, what the record shows clearly. The Calloway family departed Phoenix. They were confirmed at the Barstow gas station in the early afternoon. After that point, no verified sighting exists. Their motel reservation was never claimed. They were reported missing 5 days after departure. A station wagon matching their vehicle's description was stopped 60 miles off their route. The driver, a lone male adult. No passengers. No family. No luggage. That is the verifiable spine. What the record does not show. What happened between Barstow and wherever they went. Whether that highway patrol stop involved their vehicle specifically. Whether the credit card irregularity is clerical error, fraud, or something else. Whether the man at the baseball game had any connection to any of it. I want to be direct about the competing explanations. Explanation 1. Mechanical failure. The car breaks down in a desert stretch with no cell service and no passing traffic. For reasons I cannot reconstruct, the family does not reach help in time. This happens. The Mojave is not forgiving. But against this sits the highway patrol stop, a station wagon moving under its own power, driven by someone, and the fact that a breakdown on Interstate 10 in August would almost certainly have drawn other drivers within hours. Explanation 2. Voluntary disappearance. David and Patricia, for personal or financial reasons, decided to vanish. Investigators favored this theory initially and later abandoned it when the family's circumstances showed no significant stress indicators. 2 children under 10 complicate that theory significantly. Explanation 3. Foul play by a third party. This is where the evidence points with the most consistency, not conclusively, but consistently. The route, the timing window, the solo male driver in their vehicle, the question Patricia asked the night before. 1 detail standing alone means nothing. 4 details distributed across weeks of evidence, building toward the same shadow that is harder to dismiss. Records indicate the case was reviewed twice after the original investigation closed, once in 1994, once in 2009, and neither review produced leads substantial enough to reopen it formally. Someone understood the specific mechanics of this family's routines. That someone cannot be erased from the record. I keep coming back to the photograph. The one at the Barstow station. Patricia at the pump. 2 children behind glass. The clock on the wall reading 2:14. I've looked at it long enough that details I missed the first time are now visible. The way Renee, the 6-year-old, has her face turned toward the window, looking at something outside the frame. The way the light falls across the hood. The ordinariness of it. A mother filling a tank on a Tuesday afternoon, not knowing she is being photographed, not knowing the photograph will outlast the trip. Whatever happened to the Calloway family happened after that moment. After the pump was replaced, after the transaction closed, after David got behind the wheel and pulled back onto the highway. The desert between Barstow and wherever they were going is still there. The road is still there. People drive it every day, music on, windows up against the heat. Not thinking about a station wagon that moved through the same space on a Tuesday in 1986 and kept going past every point where we can follow. I don't have an answer for the Calloway family. I don't know if an answer exists in any form that could be reached now. The witnesses have aged or died or forgotten. The documents that might have clarified the credit card sequence sit in an off-site archive somewhere. The officer who made the highway patrol stop remembered less with each passing year. What stays with me, what I cannot put down, is that question Patricia asked her sister. Not the gap in the timeline, not the abandoned motel room. That question, she wanted to know the name of a man she'd only seen once. The night after she asked, she loaded her family into a car, and the road took them. Who was he? And does he know what happened out there?